Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel slash Patreon. If you're looking at this on my YouTube channel, you are actually looking at a video that was not initially going to be on my YouTube channel, but it's more for my Patreon, part of the content that I provide out there for my my rays of light that are members of it. But I wanted to talk about the Glee cast because a lot of you have asked, is there a curse? Is there a curse around the Glee cast? And so part of this reading here is me just like giving you well, my insights and stuff. Like, I want to talk about, first of all, curses. Like, are curses real? I have a lot of people out there that don't believe in curses, especially if you're spiritually rooted in your faith. A lot of people don't believe that curses exist. Now, you know, you sometimes have, some of you probably have gone to psychics out there and they said, oh, you're cursed and I need $500. I need a hair from your, you know, I need your first, you know, your first harvest or whatever. I'm just making that up. We're just talking here before I actually get into the actual part of the reading. But whatever the case is, you know, people believe, because it's been so sensationalized and so by movies, you know, Hollywood and things like that. They look at people like gypsies that put curses on people, and they think that it's just like make believe, right? But if we can believe in God, right, that there is a God, for those of you that are tuning in to my channel and that are religious, or that are tuning into this Patreon video and are religious and maybe believe in a higher power, right? If you're agnostic, or no, not agnostic, but atheist, you know, you may not believe that there is God. And some people believe God isn't, or the angels are aliens, right? So I'm doing a lot of rambling here, but what I'm trying to get at is that everybody has different beliefs in the world. And if we can believe that that good exists in the world, right? And angels and God, we also have to believe that there is evil and there is a devil and that there are demons and things in the world that are out there. So what is a curse? Like, people want to know, what is a curse? You know, a lot of people think that a curse is just somebody like putting a hex on you. But when we get into curses, there's things as generational curses. There are curses that are done by magic, right? And then when we use curse words from our mouth and we project that out and we say things from ourselves, a lot of people don't realize that when we use the word curse words, we're actually cursing people. The F word, when we use the B word, when we use the S word, right? All of those things is where curses originated from. Basically, a curse in layman's terms is basically your speech, your words. Words carry an energy and a power. So I want you to look at it from that perspective, not from the gypsy, oh my God, I got chicken feet and I got, you know, I got blood and stuff like that. And you know, that's kind of like, it can exist. Like, that does exist in some religions, in some forms of darker magic, where sacrifices are done and all of that. But that's an entirely different type of video that I don't want to really do right now. I'm really just talking about curses and giving you a kind of like a better understanding. So a lot of you out there that are tuning into my channel or tuning into my Patreon content will really understand what a curse is really about. Because a lot of people, I feel like, don't really understand what curses are really about. Now, when you say a word, like you use cuss words and you are cursing at someone, people use them as, they refer to them as cuss words or curse words. Same thing. Tomato, tomato, potato, potato, right? Basically, when you are saying those things, it is projecting and wishing ill intent upon someone else. Those are what we call curses, right? We can speak curses. The Bible talks about curses. If you go back into the doctrine, many religions Native Americans have talked about and spoken about curses that are very much in existence. But how realistic or effective are those curses? Okay, so let's say you use curse words, right? And you're cursing someone with those curse words. You're cussing at them, right? You're cursing at them, and you tell them F you and F this and blah, 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 blah. And that person is hurt by that, okay? Because we're all, let's say you're a sensitive, highly sensitive person, HSP. I don't like to use the word empath, but let's just use it in this video too, because people can probably relate more to the word empath. So let's say you are an empath or a clairsentient. Clairsentient is someone that has psychic abilities, that senses and feels things very deeply, almost like an empath. When somebody curses at you and they cuss you, you're going to feel that very deeply. Some of you know that it's not true what is being said about you, but it hurts you on a deep level because their words had some kind of effect on you on a spiritual level, not just a mental level, because sometimes there are people that just don't care. They laugh at people cursing at them. But deep down behind that laugh, on a subconscious level, at the soul level, it does hurt. It does hurt, and on some level, and it affects you in some level. It can make you, it can bring a reaction out of you, right? So there is power behind the curses, right? That are being vocally spoken out of another person onto you. You go through emotions. Either you're processing it, you're laughing, or you're rolling your eyes, you're pissed off, right? So all of this has an effect on your spiritual and inner psyche at the psychological level. Now, I'm not trying to be a psychologist and get into the scientific realm of all of this, but I am trying to explain it because I remember taking psychology, and when I took psychology, this is one of the things that we spoke about, not curses, but how words are spoken and they affect ourselves. Some people call this the ego, right? But there's different breakdowns to the characteristics of your inner psyche and your thought processes. So all of the words that are spoken or said are actually spells, and some people refer to them as spells, some people refer to them as curses. If you are, to me, if you are speaking ill upon someone else and wishing them ill, it is a spell. It is magic. It is a form of magic. Now, we may not want to see it like that. A lot of you may not want to say it that in that manner, but it is a form of magic. It is a form of casting a spell on someone, right? Now we're going to get into what is the magical side of curses. This is where we start talking about people using witchcraft, black magic. Well, let me go back, because I'm going to have a lot of my witch colleagues, because I'm a witch too, a white witch, that come for me in the comments and be like, you need to clear that up, because witches are not clearly bad, and not all witches are clearly bad, and not all witches curse people, right? When we talk about witchcraft, I'm talking about more of like the black arts, right? The black magic. I'm talking more about the people that deal with black magic, or that deal with kind of like, they toggle between white and dark magic, right? And so there's some that are like in between. We can call them hedge witches, but even if you're a white witch, you can cross over into the dark side if you're pissed off at very easily. It's very easy to do. Now, when we're talking about, for those of you that have never done witchcraft, you think it's work of the devil, etc., you may not want to continue looking at this video. You may not believe or understand exactly what I'm trying to say here. But let me go ahead and give me an opportunity here so I can explain it to you, okay? When people start cursing people magically, we're speaking about magically, there's too many things that I can't cover in just one video, but there's different ways for people to do that. You can get a piece of their personal object that they had. You can get a piece of their hair. You can get a photograph. It could just be, they Snapchatted and you took a screenshot of that, printed it out. And then some witches, they start dealing with the more of like the hoodoo side of it, or the voodoo side. And they start doing what we call ammonia jars, right? And putting people's photographs in the jar with coffin nails. And it gets pretty dark. And, ammonia and some other things, which I don't believe in cursing people that way. I don't believe doing any curses at all to people. Because I do believe in karma, and a lot of witches that are in the darker side of magic don't believe in karmic, and different cultures and different beliefs don't believe that there is karma, or that karma exists, right? Or that there is a higher power that is going to punish you for doing that. But everything that you say and do has a reaction, right? Like going back to, what is it, Einstein's theory? For every action, every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, or whatever, however the saying goes. I never was into the whole scientific or school thing. I mean, I was good at biology and I love that, but that's neither here nor there. So going back to the subject, of magical curses, when we talk about that, it is very much something that that exists, and people do this when it's like an unrequited love situation, or you're just angry at somebody because they just keep bothering you, or you just want someone to suffer because they put you through hell, right? And that's when the darker things start taking place, where they start using a personal object of you, or just a photograph, or just writing your name on a sheet of paper and wishing you intent. Because not all magic has to be done with objects or personal belongings. It could just be what we call almost like a psychic attack, which to me, psychic attacks are like the psychic versions of curses towards people. You're sending them bad energy, just like the mal de ojo. For those of you that are my Latinos out there, Latinas, or you grew up in a Hispanic culture, right? You know about the mal de ojo, which is the evil eye, basically, and even if you're a Turkish person looking at my video, right, from Turkey or from Istanbul or from these cultures, y'all believe in the evil eye as well. Even I believe India believes in that. So like every culture has heard about the evil eye, and again, I'm going into different topics here, which may seem like I'm jumping all over the place, but I want to kind of pull from different topics to give you a better understanding of how magical curses work. And that's like how it works. It can be psychic curses, where a person is being cursed. I don't call it a psychic curse, it's psychic attack, but it is a form of like cursing in many ways, okay? Again, people will disagree with me, I'm pretty sure, but again, it is a form of cursing someone when you're wishing bad intent, and you don't even have to be wishing them, just the thought of it. A lot of people just have constant thoughts. There's a lot of telepaths, or people that work more through the mind, and they'll like picture somebody being hurt in some kind of way, like whether it's like a car hitting them getting in an accident, falling down, and then it happens because, not necessarily because the other person believed that person had power over them, but because it is dark spirits, dark magic, devil energy that we're talking about when you start working with darker spirits. There are people that work in the light, like myself, people that work with good magic. I do mainly candle magic, healing, herbs, things like that, almost like an apothecary, right? But like herbs, magic, healing, promoting self-love, a connection to our loved ones. It's nothing dark. I never do cursing or hexes or whatever you want to call it towards other people. And then we get into generational curses. So generational curses are basically curses that have happened throughout, like maybe a family member many eons ago, like going back 5 or 6 generations. Maybe they were into magic. They were a dark witch, right? Or they did something in their life, in that life path, against somebody else, and someone else put a curse on the family and the bloodline. Generational curses are very, very real, okay? Now, again, I don't want a lot of people to think or misconstrue what I'm trying to say, but they're very real, and they do follow generations. And even if you don't want to believe that curses are real, or they have power over people, or can influence future generations, the fact of it is, we've seen it with the Glee cast, which I'll get into in a minute. We've seen it with the Kennedys. We've seen it throughout history with all these other bloodlines and things of that nature that have had like super tragic events that have happened over and over and over. So how do you know if you had a generational curse done, right? You can kind of go back to your family and look at your ancestors. You've probably heard your mom say stories about her mother, and her mother say stories about her mother. It's like when you start seeing generational curses, it's a pattern or a cycle that kind of follows each and every person from a certain sex within the family. But it could also be just anyone in general, right? Anyone, it could be affecting just the males in the family where they were they suffered infertility, or they didn't suffer infertility, but they all passed away in a tragic way, or they developed cancer. They all passed like before the age of 40 or the age of 60. Or you look at families that have had, like, a lot of the women in the family have all had miscarriages, right? They've lost children, or they've had other tragic things happen. Like, there's a cycle. Like, let's say in your bloodline that all of the women in your mom's side of the family have all had like terrible relationships, terrible marriages. Every single one of them is single. It leads one to believe, okay, this is just me and you talking here, that there could be a generational curse going through that bloodline, right? But the power for you, the good thing for you, is that you can change that. You can change it, and you don't need to pay $500. You don't need to pay $40. You don't have to pay anything to break curses. We are powerful enough to work with our ancestors and work with our higher self, with the angelic realm, using God. God is the ultimate power, right? The higher power, source, whatever you want to call it, Gaia. We can connect to those individuals. And this is like a whole nother video, but I'm just giving you the gist of it, where we can actually cancel, null, and void and all of that, those generational curses, and take power back, so that these cycles don't continue to repeat themselves. And so I'm glad that I'm doing this video, because I want to bring awareness to all of my, because I am acting as a mentor, teacher on, and when I say acting, I mean I am being. This is not an act, so I don't want people, because people, will listen to me, listen to Ray, and they'll misconstrue my whole words and everything, or put like a twist and a reverse to what I said. But what I'm trying to say here is that I act as I teach as a mentor. I'm being a mentor on my Patreon channel, and these are the kind of things that I discuss and do videos on, that normally don't go on my YouTube channel, because I wanted to create a very intimate setting where there's one-on-one learning, and basically a group of people where everybody can be safe and not be negative in the group, or have all this toxicity that sometimes exists throughout the YouTube community when it's a very public post, right? So when we're talking about that, like I said, there's just so many areas and ways that I can go to, but we have the power to break curses. You can simply write out a sheet of paper. We call it in the witch community or magic community a petition, right? It's taking a piece of parchment paper, taking any kind of sheet of paper, writing down your name. I, Raymond Guzman, now null, void, cancel all generational curses, and call upon healing for all my future generations, and for myself, and protection for myself and all of my future ancestors. And I go back and forgive all of my ancestors in the past that were a product or suffered at the hands of this generational curse, in God's name, right? And then you can sign it, and then you just put it under a white candle, and you can light that candle for 7 days, 9 days. You can even do a novena, for those of you that are from a Catholic background like I am. But again, I'm not Catholic anymore. I'm more of spiritual, and I use that. You can say a 9-day novena. You can combine, like hoodoo, like I'm also into hoodoo and stuff. So like with hoodoo, you can use and pull from Catholicism. You can pull from, from witchcraft. You can pull from different things and use this as a part of, your tools, your power, and reclaim your power. People give their power and energy away to this. So the biggest thing that I want you to do is not be fearful if you've been told that you've been cursed, or that you feel like you've been cursed, because you have the power to break curses. The same thing will apply if you feel like you've been cursed. Don't fall for that thing where you go to a psychic and they're like, you've been cursed, I need $500. If you haven't seen my Madam Gina parody, you need to check that out. But in it, excuse me, dry throat. But in it, I actually do a parody of a curse, and I'm like, you need to bring me a number 5 from Sonic, a number 2, I think it was a number 2, number 5, etc. But these psychics that scam people out there, preying on people, telling them that they've been cursed, they do so in a way where they want money, or they want you to keep coming back and giving them something. That's inauthentic, and they operate out of fear. They're like what we call fear readers, and so they prey and target on you with something very negative. I know this because I have had clients come to me one after another talking about this mess, and wanting to confirm if they've had any kind of curses. In the whole line of work that I've done, I have confirmed that there were some people that were products or had like some kind of magical curses, but I didn't tell these people that they needed to give me $500, $1,000, or keep coming back for readings. No, I gave them the tools that they could do to break that cycle or break that magic that is done. There's things called like uncrossing candles, right? There's things that that you can do to cleanse your energy and yourself. There's forms of protection that you can put up around you. Remember, even though a powerful witch or a coven or somebody comes for you, they're no powerful than your own ancestors behind you. They're no more powerful than angels that you have protecting you, and your guardian angels and your archangels. This is when we start calling upon Archangel Metatron, Archangel Michael, and we start surrounding and shielding ourselves in an impenetrable white light or a gold bubble of light all around us. These are techniques to help us. There's a reason that I wear a Saint Benedictine medallion, a Saint Benedictine bracelet. It's in sterling silver. I'll hold it up to the camera here. And so I have it, and I have it on me 24/7. I bathe, I shower in this. I never take it off. I sleep with it because I have been the victim of a lot of people that have done these things to me. And how do I know that they've done curses on me? Is because I've seen visions of them since I'm a clairvoyant. I actually tapped into, and I spoke about this like a long time ago on my YouTube channel. But this is a very interesting story. I had a case where someone was actually doing a hex on me. And they were with a voodoo doll. They had a voodoo doll. So I don't know, like I say hex, but it's like more like voodoo. But they had a voodoo doll, and it was two women that were doing it. And as I was sitting down on my couch, relaxing, I just like saw the vision, and I was like there. I remotely like tapped in. I was like there. Like if you ever seen that movie Dr. Sleep, how the little girl, I remember her name, but she was like the telepath, and she was like going when they were like doing sacrifices and stuff. She was like there watching them, and Rose, the lady with the hat, she was the one that was seeing them, right, and hearing them. She could feel that energy tapping in and remote viewing. That's what was going on with me. And I remote viewed into this, and I was like, what are they doing? And then I heard one of them say, he is here. And so then immediately they stopped. They dropped the doll, and then I came back into my own focused consciousness. I wasn't asleep. I was fully awake, and I was like, oh my God, like I really am seeing this, and this is crazy. Like I'm seeing people do dark shit, excuse my language, to me, and I'm like, why? Like why? Like, so there's a lot of reasons why people do it. They hold a personal vendetta against you. They're jealous of you. They are mad that you are now with their ex, right? They're mad that you're happy. They're mad that you're successful. And again, it doesn't have to be magical curses, but I wanted to explain this in depth and give you a better understanding on what curses are and what type of curses exist. And I'm sure that there's more that I didn't cover in here. I'm sure that there's a lot more that I could say. But I want you to know one thing, that other people are not more powerful than you, okay? They may have more power, more abilities. They may have, things like that, but they don't have power over your soul. They don't have power over you, your destiny. You have that power. You were given that grace by God, okay? Not to get religious, but you were given that grace by God. You were given this grace by your higher power. So if you are someone that believes that you are saved, or someone that you believe in a higher power protecting you, and you believe that you are strong enough to do that, you are protected. Now, the people that start buying into the fear part of this and start thinking, oh my God, I'm fearful, oh my God, this is happening now, and like, what am I gonna do? Like, this is horrible. This is horrible. Like, I can't sleep. I'm restless because I keep thinking about this witch that said that she was gonna curse me if I didn't give her $500. Blah blah blah. Take your power back. Don't fall into the trap of being scared. Now, I want to talk about the Glee. Now that I've gone on this whole spiel of curses, I want to talk about the Glee cast. Do I believe that there is a curse on there, in the on the cast members that were on Glee? Is there a curse? Yes and no. Okay, I don't feel like this is like a magical curse, like some witch cursed everybody, and okay, everybody is like cursed. But here's one thing: keep an open mind when I go into this. Okay. People, through the music industry, people believe in certain religions that Satan, right, the devil, is the producer or the mastermind behind music, that he is the principality against music, of all kinds, right, that he is very much behind the industry, right? So I want you to just keep an open mind, okay? I'm not saying that they are like this, but I'm going to get to the point I'm trying to make. There's a belief out there that a lot of people sell their souls to the devil, right? Because they got all of this fame really, really fast. And I've spoken about this. Some people refer to this as the New World Order. Some people refer to this as the Cabal. Some people refer to this as the Illuminati. Is the Illuminati real? Is there a group of people that are a secret organization? Are the Freemasons real? Of course they're real, duh. So what makes you think that the Illuminati or the New World Order is not real, right? Okay. So let's just say, for an example, this is just an example here. And I'm going to do the card reading in a minute. I'm going to get to that. But let's just say for a moment that these artists because Glee was known to be doing covers of other songs of other musicians, right? They were known to do these, samples and song covers of these artists who have music out there, right? Okay. So we know that. Now, think about these artists that they're doing the covers, like they did Lady Gaga's Bad Romance, I'm pretty sure, other people out there. And I'm not saying Lady Gaga sold her soul or any of these artists, but I'm just putting that out there. Let's say all this darkness maybe is not like the devil having them sign on a contract with their blood, blah, 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 right? Even though I'm pretty sure there are some satanic stuff out there that does blood rituals, whatnot. But let's say that there are darker things that go in the industry, like rape, molestation, human trafficking, all these darker things and things that go on in the industry. And those artists sing those songs, right? They're forced to be a machine and produce all of that. And it produces an energy behind it that is negative, that could potentially be what I call tainted. It is a reverberation of energy out there, right? It is like darker energy. Now, let's say that one of these people did sell their soul to the devil, right? And they have this beautiful voice, and they have this beautiful, like, just music after hits after hit after hit. And they've accoladed to the very, very top. But along the way, they've had their share of tragedies and things that not of that nature. But they've sung these songs. All of that, those songs are words that have energy and carry energy. Then you have the group of Glee actors and actresses out there that sing these songs, right? They're singing these same songs. It's like pulling from the ethereal all that energy, all of that stuff. And again, you may not see it like that, but I kind of see it like that, in that way. It pulls all of that dark energy. So let's say they are singing songs that belongs to the devil, really. And I'm not trying to get into religion, because this is sounding a lot like a religious type of person. But I'm just kind of using it as an example. So let's say they are singing a song that the Beatles sung, and the Beatles sold their soul to the devil, right? We're just putting out there as an example, kind of being facetious. I don't mean that, and like they actually did that, but let's just say that, right? they did that. And then that song really is like, was made by them, but the devil was all behind it, all behind the hit, because he is the father of music, right? And many people believe that. So that song doesn't really belong to the Beatles, even though they sung it and whatnot. It's a product of evil. It's a product of dark forces, right? And then other people start singing these songs and listening to them. What is happening essentially is that you're taking upon that energy and it's surrounding you. So when energy is, you're taking upon energy, just like I would be channeling energy, hence why I don't like channeling darker topics and stuff like that. But I do it with protection, going in and out. Protection like prayers and stuff like that. So let's say someone like the Glee cast, they didn't pray before singing, they didn't pray after, they were just singing these songs for production. All of that can create an environment that is essentially very, very dark, and it can create an energy that can haunt them, especially if there were like darker energy behind the music, behind these artists that actually produced or composed the music, right? And that's what Glee was known for. So I do believe on some level that they were cursed, the Glee cast, but not necessarily in the way that people think, oh, well, there was a spell put on them. No, but more in the form of the energy that was surrounding them, which was pure music, and them singing that music that may have had some, because you never know what that artist went through. Drug abuse, sexual abuse, not sleeping. Maybe they ended up dying, you know, after, and these people are singing their songs and whatnot. It can create an energy that is unhealthy, okay? So I'm not saying that you should fear listening to music like from people that are dead or people that are famous, etc. But what I am saying is that you should, like, everybody should be rooted in prayer. And I believe everybody should say a prayer of protection in the morning, whether it's like to Archangel Michael, you know, or whoever you pray to. Pray to God, a Buddha, whoever. We should have a form of protection around us. Now, I feel like a lot of the actors and actresses on Glee may have not done that. They may not have done that on the show, right? So it does in some way produce some form of what we call a curse. So I'm just going to pull up some cards. Now I'm going to get into the reading portion of the video and pull some cards to see what was the energy surrounding the Glee cast, okay? I never watched the show. I just didn't like the show. It wasn't my cup of tea. Not that I have anything against them. I think they're all fabulous. I did watch maybe one episode, and I was like, I'm not into this, because there was other themes in the Glee cast that I just didn't like the way that the writing was going. Like, it was very real life themes and stuff, but to me, it just, I never had that click with them, right? But I do believe that they were cursed in some way, because of the things that they did on the show. Maybe the themes, maybe the more of the music. I keep hearing spirits say the music, the stuff that they sang all have energy and stuff like that behind it. So let me get into it and see exactly like what is going on, okay? So I'm gonna end the video here and actually get into the reading portion, and then I'll combine both. This will probably be in portrait, and the other one will be in landscape mode, because to do the cards, you know, I want y'all to see the table, etc. So and then I may have to do like 2 separate videos. So if you don't see it like combined, then this will be part 1, and then I'll publish the other video on part 2 on the reading on the Glee cast. Alright guys, so let's get into the reading. Alright guys, now we're going to get into the reading itself on the Glee cast. I'm using several cards here. This is the Rider-Waite Tarot deck. As you can see, I've used it mostly in every single video. This is the one that I really gravitate towards, I really like. Now, again, I know nothing about how the members got along, on the actors and actresses on the actual Glee. I don't know how they got along, if they even got along. I don't know anything about that. So I'm just going to give you what I get I'm going to be using the Rider-Waite, and then the Raven's Wand Oracle, and the Madame Endora's Fortune cards. A lot of people are saying that Naya Rivera is alive and hiding. A lot of people think that she's alive. I mean, I hope that she is. I hope I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'm not going to feel bad that I'm wrong, because, again, like I've said, we're not always 100% accurate. You know, there's not no human being that's 100% accurate with their gifts. The energy that I felt and other psychics felt was that she was not alive. So we're going to get into this and see. Oops, so those cards popped out. And I'm a believer that when you're shuffling the deck and any cards pop out, you know, as long as it's not like 4 or 5 at one time, you know, that it's spirit that wants you to use those cards. Now, that's just me. And sometimes they don't pop out, so you have to just like pull them out. See? So, spirit, was the Glee cast cursed? Was the Glee cast cursed? Oops. So I'm going to have to move this. Let me hold the camera. Wow. You won't believe this. And this popped to the floor. Okay, so what popped on the floor was the card Death and the Knight of Swords, okay? Then we have here Six of Swords. And then the Empress. The Six of Wands. Wow. And the Five of Pentacles. Let me pull out one more card. Ten of Swords and the Queen of Swords. So let me turn these around so I can look at them to analyze them. And I want to do it in a different way, because I remember what way that they popped out. All right, so kind of like a perfectionist here. Remember, I asked if they were cursed. So, Six of Wands. There is a lot of goals that they've had, messages that were given during the show, opportunities, them chasing their opportunities. And I feel like there was a highly, I don't know who the script writer was behind the show, but I keep feeling that there was like a strong feminine or female. This could be a male that is either gay or that has a very much divine feminine energy. But I get that there was definitely someone that was very powerful on the show that had a lot of presence. But I feel like all the members were not necessarily happy with the show, even though they were on there. I get a lot of the actors and actresses with the Six of Swords like wanting to move away from this show, like feeling like maybe the opportunities were very limited on what they would be able to do after the show itself, even though it did open up many doors. With the Knight of Swords, I do feel like there was a lot of a criticism coming towards the show, coming towards the actors and the actresses. And the Death card for me symbolizes a finality to this. Like a lot of the people that have left, remember I asked the question, was the show, the cast cursed of Glee, and I got the Death card. So for the Death card, it really symbolizes a finality, but I also feel like there is death looming on this show. Like I feel like there is a correlation here. And again, the Five of Pentacles is like people that are leaving the show, but when they left it, it was like they were facing hardships financially. Maybe like a lot of them didn't know if they were going to land another project. Maybe they had good agents and they didn't have to worry about that. Then the Ten of Swords, like I feel like a lot of mental anguish leaving this show, the energy behind it. Because again, I asked the question, was the Glee cast cursed? It feels very much, and then the Queen of Swords. It feels like the guys on the show may have had a little bit more struggle than the females around this, or be more impacted. Now, I'm not sure, but I feel like there was, what was it? Was it 2 people that have died before the show. I mean, have died from the show. Two people. I know one was a guy. Was the other one a girl or a guy? Let me see what other cards come out. Just throw some cards out. The Lover's card is in reverse, and I don't read reversals, but for me, a lot of them would have had problems with the with their love life after this, and even if they had other successes on other shows. A lot of greed about the show. There was a lot of greed behind this. A lot of them didn't know the decisions they had to make. Look, heartbreak. A lot of them were very disillusioned, disappointed with the show. And with love in general. Yeah, the Nine of Wands, like it feels very heavy. Like someone that comes out of the show very heavy. They worked hard, but they didn't get what they really wanted. Like they're not where they really wanted to be without being touched on a spiritual level, and maybe even the physical level. Like this was very taxing on them. Two of Wands, so the Magician in reverse. So, yeah. I'm going to use this other cards now, the Madame Endora's Fortune cards. And so I'm going to see what comes out on these cards. Let me shuffle them really quick here. I feel like the members all would have been having problems long before the show ended. I feel like there was problems on set, problems with with each other. Some of them, not all of them. A lot of gossip, and criticism for covering songs of these artists, maybe from fans. So there was a lot of criticism is what I feel. And criticism from the public, believe it or not, is a form of curse. It's a form of psychic attacks. When people come onto your forums or right there, or they make reviews, scathing reviews, a lot of these editors and stuff, it is a form of cursing someone, regardless if you see it from that perspective. Honor and good luck. So let me ask the question here. Honor and good luck. Some of them may not be touched by this. Like, not all of them will be. Oh, and the other example of this is like the Exorcist movie, right? When, what's her name? Reagan. Well, that was the name of the girl, but Linda Blair, she did the role of that. There was a lot of tragedy that happened on set, I believe, if not mistaken. Time is of the essence. So a long journey brings rewards. So I don't feel like if there was a curse, I don't feel like it's going to affect everybody. Only if they continue on a low vibration. Forces beyond your control intervene. For me, the Hand of Fate, that card, for me, symbolizes, like, again, confirming that there is potentially some kind of magical curse around the Glee cast members. You'll receive news from afar. Notice it's medical, so like health, right? And again, the Oracle, seek wisdom, guidance from elders. I feel like a lot of them were left in a position after the show, like really thinking about this, like, was there any truth to that? You are safe from harm. So I feel like the shield is that there is a higher power protecting a lot of the cast members, regardless of the curses and whatever is going on. Conflict and danger lie in wait. So there is somebody else from the Glee cast that is going to be affected in some kind of way. I don't know how many actors or actresses, again, were on the Glee cast, but the dagger part, for me, it symbolizes that there is conflict and that there is danger up ahead for someone. Triumph over adversity. Your luck will change soon, the Black Cat. And then emotions are at their peak. Well, with everything that's happening, I kind of feel like that makes sense. Everything that's happening here. And a lot of them are protected with the talisman. Again, they're destined to succeed. Utilize logic, reason, and common sense. Your surroundings will undergo transition, the winds of change. So, I feel like, honestly, there is something to the curse of the Glee cast, but it's not like this urban legend. It's not like that. I honestly feel like it's more of, again, the energy behind the music, energy about the cast members. If they were at a low vibration while doing all of this, it could have followed them, right? But I feel like, for the most part, that they're no longer like cursed, but there is like an energy that lingers through the atmosphere of the cast members that were previous cast members of the show, since the show, I believe, is no longer airing. I do feel like there is some concern that there is somebody else with the dagger card that I got here. Conflict and danger lie in wait. And I don't feel like this is Naya. I feel like this could be another male cast member that just needs to be careful with the energy that I see here. It's very possible that there is something that is going to be coming up around the cast members. So I feel like they all need to like pray, light a white candle, and just cleanse their energies. Like take salt baths, work with crystals, black obsidian, rainbow obsidian, black tourmaline, and selenite, and maybe having that around their homes. I would have to like read each cast member to know like what spirit would say, which could be a different reading, a different video. But now I'm using the Raven Wands Oracle. I just want to know what are the messages that they have for the former cast members of Glee. Okay, like what would be like the messages that Spirit has for them. The reason I don't need the cards, guys, but the reason I'm using them is for you guys to see something tangible. Me being a psychic and saying something on the screen, it's like some people want to see, like they need something tangible. And this is the reason that I enjoyed using cards as well. So that way y'all can see kind of like what Spirit is showing. I have nothing against cards. So what are the messages for the former Glee cast members? What do they need to know? So I got here Winter's Throne. A lot of focus around winter. I feel like this is when, like the winter months, when they may start feeling like a lot of peace from all of this has happened. The power of words. Again, watching. Didn't I tell you about that? Look, how scary is that? Well, not scary, but how eerie is that? The power of words. Their words, the things that they said. Again, this all goes back to the theme. Even though when you acting is a form of spells. It's a form of power. Whatever you're doing is a form of power, right? You're taking on a character. Again, sometimes the characters that we create could actually have tragedies in real life or experience those same life lessons that they had as a character in real life. Like, what was the guy, Paul Walker in the, Fast and the Furious? And he ended up having an accident, right? Family matters. So a lot of focus for the former Glee cast needs to be on their families. And then dreaming days. A lot of them have dreams and aspirations. Let me pull 2 more cards and see what Spirit has to say for them. Founding day. So going back to their ancestry as well. A lot of them that could have been, not apart from the music, like I said, and all of that jazz. The founding day means that going back to their own ancestors. These people that have died or are presumably dead right now, or the ones that did die, what was going on with their forefathers? What did their ancestors do? Like slavery, people that did slavery in the olden days that were slave owners and masters. Those people have a bad energy because what they did was hurt other innocent people, whipping them, killing them, abusing them, raping them, etc. All of that has bad energy that follows you. That's another form that I didn't get to talk about in the video itself, of the curses and how generational curses work. Daisy and the dandelion. So again, Daisy and the dandelion for me symbolizes like their inner child. A lot of these members that are cast members or former cast members of Glee, I feel like they've been disconnected from their own inner child. They need to connect with them, their inner child. What did they like doing when they were younger? Like what healing past traumas that they may have gone through, eating disorders and things that they would have gone through as children or as young teens in their their younger years. I feel like again there is a lot of revisiting that and also making peace. Like if we dig deep down into their ancestry, I'm pretty sure that some of them on there may have had some slave owners, ancestors that were slave owners and that ran plantations or that worked along the slave owners and were mean to slaves and things like that. And that all can produce a lot of bad energy, bad karma, or like what we would call curses, generational curses. So again, I hope that you found this video helpful. I hope that that you enjoyed it and took something away from it positively, and kind of like looking or being less afraid, but creating more awareness about your own actions, your own words, your own thoughts, and having control over them and not letting the dark side take over. The fact is that no one's perfect. We all have a shadow side or a shadow self. We all get to that level where sometimes we may say things that we regret. But if you say that you're sorry or that you ask for forgiveness, and some ways, you can null and void that energy that was sent out, which again, to me is very, very important. So I want to thank you again for tuning in. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to join my Patreon. What are you waiting for? I have so much tea, so many videos, so much content for psychic and mediumship development. What are you waiting for? Come and join. And to join, just go to www.patreon.com/psychic medium Ray. I love you guys so much. Until next time. Bye.